Welcome everyone. Today we are going to learn about the role of sodium bicarbonate symporter in two different organs. So this is the example of kidney and this is the example of pancreas. Now in these two different organs, the sodium bicarbonate symporter plays different role. At first I want to mention that these cells are actually present in the early segment of proximal tubule. This is an example of epithelial cells. Now in this epithelial cells, both are actually epithelial cells. This portion of the plasma membrane is called apical plasma membrane in both these cells, and this portion of this plasma membrane is called basolateral plasma membrane. Now this basolateral plasma membrane face blood, so here is blood present. Now in two different organs, the apical plasma membrane face different things. In this case, in case of kidney, it faces the lumen that contains basically the filtrate called filtrate. Now this filtrate actually becomes the urine. Okay, we have to understand this. And in this case, the pancreas faces the lumen where foods are actually comes from the stomach. So it is actually acid loaded contents of the stomach. Now in both these epithelial cells, the sodium bicarbonate symporter present in the basolateral portions. So here the symporter is present, sodium bicarbonate symporter. Okay. Now in the apical plasma membrane, they contain two different antiporter. In case of the epithelial cells present in the proximal tubule, there is a sodium and hydrogen antiporter. And in case pancreas, this is chlorine and bicarbonate antiporter. Okay. Now at first I will explain what happens and what is the function of this sodium bicarbonate in the kidney. Basically, in the epithelial cells of proximal tubule, carbon dioxide can diffuse inside the cells or can be generated by the cells also by aerobic metabolism. It reacts with water and one enzyme present called carbonic anhydrase 2. So carbonic anhydrase 2. This enzyme can split this carbon dioxide and water into bicarbonate and protons. Now this proton, the proton that is generated by this reaction is actually exported out of the cell, into the lumen. That means it actually go to the filtrate, and sodium import occur. So that's why this is called, in the proximal tubule, this is called reabsorption of sodium. Reabsorption of sodium. So here sodium is reabsorbed and positive protons are actually removed. Okay. Now that this bicarbonate is actually exported out of the cell and into the blood, and also the sodium that actually enters inside the cell are actually also go out through this symporter. Symporter means two ions will move in the same directions. Now by removing this bicarbonate, these kidney epithelial cells actually maintain the blood pH that is slightly basic. The value of the pH is 7.4. So by exporting these bicarbonate ions through the cells, it actually maintains the basic pH. Also, simultaneously, this Symporter helps in the reabsorption of the sodium, because for the presence of this Symporter, sodium that are reabsorbed go to the blood, so sodium are not lost. Okay. In case of pancreas, what happens? The lumen contain the acid load from the stomach. Now, this pancreas actually secrete the bicarbonate that actually buffer this acid load of the stomachs, and also actually activates important enzymes that will help to digest the food. So what happens here? In this case of pancreas, sodium and bicarbonate, these two ions actually move inside here. It actually imports inside the cells. The same is also here occurs, but one thing I want to mention that this Symporter is actually different from this Symporter. Here 3 bicarbonate are actually transported out, and here 2 bicarbonate actually import. So they basically perform the same function, but they are isoforms. Remember this. So 2 bicarbonate enters and 1 sodium enters from the blood. This blood vascular plasma also face the blood. Now here also carbon dioxide reacts with water, and through the carbonic anhydrase 2 enzyme, it generates bicarbonate and hydrogen ions. Okay. Now this bicarbonate is actually removed from this chlorine and bicarbonate antiporter to the lumen. So this bicarbonate actually buffer the acid load from the stomach, and 1 chlorine is actually enters inside the cell. Okay. And here the bicarbonate and sodium enters inside the cell. So by this way, pancreas, in case of pancreas, the secretions also this the bicarbonate that enters inside the cells, that also go through this antiporter. So in case of pancreas, this sodium bicarbonate Symporter along with chlorine bicarbonate antiporter, it actually buffered the acid load from the stomach and activates important enzymes for the digestions. And in case of kidney, this sodium bicarbonate Symporter along with this sodium hydrogen antiporter, it maintains the blood pH at 7.4, and also reabsorption of sodium occurs so that sodium are not lost. Hope this video will help you. Thank you for watching, and always keep learning.